Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, rating's ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for ELO farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. He locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Devort, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know?
All right, my friends, let's see what we got. This is the grand show. What are you doing, buddy? Get your windows. Get your windows. What is this? There we go, buddy. There we go. Now that's still closed. Oh, shit. There we go, buddy. Bang! There it is. Okay. So, I've had some technical difficulties today, my friends. The Boomer GM and the technical difficulties. I didn't actually do any F-bombs, though. I didn't do any F-bombs. I should have. It was definitely deserving of F-bombs. The BS. Oh, God, it's just killing me. The BS that it gives me, dude. You know? It just destroys. But F-bombs. I should have. It was definitely deserved. Here we go. So, my friends, Twitch. I'm doing this. My friends, Twitch. Stop. Fudge. Okay. We have about 20 some people today. I'm going to try to do this all before 1. We have a meeting at 1. Will I get there? I don't know. Let's start though. Blake says, what was the most helpful was having a structured plan to follow, tracking my time per activity, and having the accountability to play and analyze slower games, to think longer, more deeply, and more slowly. I found it challenging to navigate the Discord generally. Me too, buddy. And specifically to schedule slower games with players within the dojo community, and specifically for the dojo's round robin tournament. I primarily use the slow Live Chess Association on chess.com. Oh, I didn't even know that. I also found it difficult to find people to review their games with. I enjoyed the interface, appreciate the effort Dojo has put into creating this universal training program for us. Great, thank you, Blake. I will say Discord, I think some people take to it immediately. I certainly am still, I've been using it now for years and it still can get me. So there's that. The round robin thing, that I feel like should be easier. Maybe the issue there is you have to kind of use, you don't have to, but it's easier to use the Discord once you start your round robin tournament, you know. But that part of the Discord, just messaging people, you know, not that difficult. All right, Blake, let's go see what's going on with your profile, bud. This is Blake, beautiful stuff. He's joined, and he's in the wrong cohort. Blake, you're in the wrong cohort, bud. You're 700. So, Blake, what I want to do is I want to look at your business, and I've already followed you, buddy. What happened here? So I want to look at your business when you get there, okay? When you get to your proper cohort. Okay, good. Let's move on. Now we have Drop Pop, excuse me. He's into the puzzles and the workbook problems. Let's see what's going on with Pop. Joined and like immediately graduated. Let's give him a follow. All right. So, had a negative experience with a checkmate test. Clubs. He's in the old dude club, as am I. Games. Here we got at least one game. East London, kind of a strange time control. This grading group, I think you're allowed to do 30-0. Pretty soft annotations though. We'll take a quick look. Here's our time graph. Just show that quickly. And drop. One of the things I really want to say is that is not an annotation. We definitely want more in there. But the first thing I'm just going to leave you, or the thing I'm going to leave you with, hold on, Pop. You got to show the graph, buddy. Whenever I get into these. The thing I want to leave you with is you're definitely moving too fast. Okay? Way too fast. Okay. So. All right, Anthony Phillips, watch the 800, this is on the YouTube, 800 ELO video, and went on a run streak of winning 4 in a row. Thank you so much. Those videos, you know, I really want more people to watch them. I haven't got too many people watching those videos. So I'm thankful that some people are getting something out of them. All right, back to El Grad Show. Bang. So, Drop Pop, welcome to the dojo. And next up, we have Piduplo. Recently joined the program. The training and the recommended books has been perfect for my levels. Pen and paper tactics every day and patience. I just don't have, I have a losing streak. Haha, okay. So as you can see, just joined, doing really well. Right, and a lot of ways our site was created for a lot of reasons, but in our back of our minds, we knew that people were out there just watching YouTube videos, which is a passive form of really entertainment. It's not going to help you all that much. Okay, but look, he has gone up epically. Just very, join the dojo and look what happens, buddy. Bam! So that's great. Let's see a little clubs here. He's in Brazil, also in Holland. And then we're working on our Spanish translation of our site. Maybe when we're done with that, we'll go with Portuguese. Okay, so Muchos tactics he started off with. Do we have any games? No games. So Piduplo, great that you joined. And we'd like to see you put some annotations in here. And I'm going to see you soon, I think, for then you're going to graduate again to 700 in not so distant future. Ruby Road says, getting a training plan for Chessdojo helped me understand what to focus on in the 600, 700 range. Playing long games also gave me more time to consider various tactics and practice calculating moves in advance. While I haven't been able to follow the training plan 100%, it's a good start. Okay, Ruby, let's go check it out what you're doing. Ruby is also fairly new to the site, and you can see once he started, he was really going for it. Now, Ruby, we want to just note that you didn't actually make it. Maybe, let's see for a second. You got to 930. Even up your peak, you weren't quite where you needed to be for the 700, 800. But you're close. You're close. Oh, wait a second. No, I take it back. He reached 932, and then he had a dip. That can happen. Okay, good. So let's take a look. Where's Ruby from? Sometimes the clubs will give us a sense. Do we got a game, Ruby? No games. Now, very typical. Joined. Maybe you haven't done the games yet. But we really want to say that is one of the 3 pillars of the dojo is analyzing your games. Okay. Bam. Next up, we have Mauve Steel. Really excited to get my first graduation. One of my main issues so far with chess has been not playing enough and overstudying. I have really focused in the last month on playing more games to try and shake that fear off and just have some fun. I played 2 rated OTB tournaments last week, and although I know just playing rapid won't help long-term improvement, playing these tournaments has really helped me gain some confidence and self-belief, which I was lacking before and was holding me back from playing. My focus now is on playing longer games. I joined a local chess club and also signed up for a tournament at the end of July, which is 5 rounds of 60-30. Love being part of the dojo. Brilliant. I have a feeling he's English because he has a program with 2 M's. We'll see if that's true. So let's go look. Mauve Steel. Oh, I was right. Danielle, 37 from England. Let's give her a follow. So, yeah, she is really doing great. I think one of the things that's fascinating about a lot of beginner players in this generation is a lot of them, they feel hesitant about playing. So maybe that's also what's going on with Mauve. And Mauve, one of the things I very much encourage you to do is to link your English rating, because you're playing in these tournaments, and put that up here as maybe even your preferred metric after it stabilizes, let's say, right? The first couple, provisional, it might be bouncing all over the place. So this is great. And we're going to give all the credit to the dojo. This huge boost, that you did after studying mostly tactics, which is good. Okay. 2024, right, very new. All right, let's see if we got some clubs. We got the Dojo Queens. So it's interesting, we have a women's club, and I feel like Dojo Queens might be a little bit redundant, or maybe they didn't like the other one. I don't know. We had a similar problem with the Old Dudes Club because somebody started a second one. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, so games. And let's check out what Mauve Steel's got going on over here. Oh, maybe we'll do this one actually because it is an OTB. So do we have times? Ooh, we actually have times. Or maybe this is an online game, but we do want to show this amazing time graph. And Danielle, oh man, look at that. One of the highest ratings we've ever seen on the dojo. Perfect time management. I want to stress, I'll say it again, probably as we're going through people's games, but making 1,000 is about 3 things. Not hanging stuff, We'll see who hung something. In my experience, an under 1,000 game, under 1,000 dojo, that is, somebody's going to hang something. 2, time management. And so it's really great to see Mauve just crush this time management. And finally, bringing our people out, just basic development. Those are the 3 things that I noticed, having done this grad show so many times. All right, let's go game review. I think I'm going to have to get the windows correct. The mundo, it's not too hard. Boom. Boom. There we go. Looking good. Okay. So let's look at Mauve's game here. Fine. Poor, right? Because they're not developing. Good. Poor, not developing. Okay, now even though this is technically not a developing move, I don't have any problem with it because you might want to retreat your bishop if it gets harassed. Good move. Poor, not developing. Knight e4. After I played this move, I thought this could end up backfiring. Once white played d3, I could only really retreat the knight to f6. Okay. I'm really happy you played knight e4. It's true that d3, knight f6, bishop g5 is a little scary. But the good news is your development is so strong and your center is so strong after you take his pawn that we should at least believe in our chances after that. Bishop e3 is definitely a huge blunder. Now, let me just stress something. What I said earlier. I said, people are hanging stuff, okay? And definitely Danielle's opponent, Tom, is hanging stuff. That is where these games are decided. All right, so here we go. Boom. Doesn't really do anything. Fine. Oh, and that's also hanging stuff. And Danielle's just surgical here. Thank you very much. King f1, we'll take everything. Fine. Fine. Ooh, poor. This move is a blunder as it hangs my knight. Yeah. So she spent 2 minutes on it. I just want to stress, actually, anybody watching this, what you should recognize is that this skill of learning not to hang stuff, it takes a moment. It takes a moment to do it, you know? It's not so easy. All right, they miss it. Good. Fine. Fine. Good. Fine. 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 Oh, look at you. You're doing so well now. FE. Boom. Beautiful. Oh, that isn't it. Okay, we're just doing great here. Oh, man, separating. Woo! Danielle, that was a great game. Mauve is in the chat, and she says it was an OTB game. So, Mauve, I want to especially thank you because I know, especially for people just starting out. Well, how did you get the times? Because the times are so exact. The times are so exact here. Maybe you were writing it down. You know, that's the hard part. But maybe you had like a fancy board to do the times. In any case, when people do OTB, oh, wow, Mauve. So, yeah, when you do it OTB, unless you're playing in a fancy tournament where they have these fancy boards, you'll have to write it down, and it's definitely worth it. Really good to see the time management here. Also, you know, I'm sure it was stressful for Mauve at the end. She's got 3 minutes, but with 10-second increment, that's going to be fine once we're winning like this. And so notice, again, I want people to just see the critical mistakes from both sides were people hanging stuff, and Danielle hung far less, just the knight on c6 as I could recall. I really think moving slow helped her play better moves. So, Mauve, welcome to the dojo. All right, now we have KC Dad. Let's go back. Boom, boom. KC Dad, what do they got to say? Give KC Dad a follow. Joined, hasn't done too much work, but has graduated to 784, close to graduating again. Muchos tactics. Maybe if I change it to dojo points. I don't know. Kind of a little bit hard to say. Maybe they did this a long ago because they started in 2024. We got the Chess Dads and Mom. I'm part of that group. Here we go. Let's just see if they got some games. We got all kinds of games, and I definitely want to, but these are ancient games. Okay, so this is my take on what happened here. Casey Dad did a bunch of dojo work when they joined in May of 24, uploaded a bunch of games, but then, just came back kind of to graduate. So I would say congratulations. In general, I only want to look at games that are recent, and these games are pretty ancient that we have going on here. But still, Casey Dad, great that you came back, and hopefully we'll see you again. You are very close to graduating again, and then we want some new games, and we'll take a look at those then. All right, boom. Next up, we have Simone. All right, just joined, I think. No, joined. This is actually somebody else who came back to the dojo. You can see they joined in 23, but just recently started to log some stuff. 831 in UK as well. I think, that UK dojo, I'm hoping there's also a London one, that they're getting together and doing dojo stuff because you can do so much cool training activities in real life, right? That was our dream for this club business. The European dojo, I think, is interesting mostly because it's a time zone thing, right? So if you wanted to play some training games online, you're going to be in a more easier time zone to manage when you do that. Okay. So, Simone, we got some games? Let's see. We got a bunch. So this is Simone Humphreys. And I don't know what I'm saying. I think I said Simone because the H kind of gave it a little bit of a thing. It was Simon H. Simon Humphreys. Okay. So this is a crazy time control of 76 plus 10. Let's give it a look. We're going to first go, do we have a time graph? No time graph. Didn't put the times in. Hard to do. Mauve did it though. And let's just go over here. Fine. Weird. Good. Fine. Fine. A little strange, but okay. Now, this thing that black is doing is called the hippo. Now, it's not great, but it should be said it's sometimes harder to take down than it looks at first sight. But what I like that you're doing so far is just every move you're developing. So no problem. And this is kind of the general hippo structure. And you could imagine, you could have played a bunch of different moves. Black's still going to do this setup. Now, we should talk a little bit about what the dreams are for black here. The dreams are to play reactive chess. So if they kind of like, if I push h4, h5, they just want to push past. Same thing over here. If I'd done that, they want to try to push past. If I go here, they always have the option to push past. If I go here, the option to push past. So that's the kind of flexy-wexy style. Now, I don't like this move too much, bishop e4, because it's not a developing move. So maybe, but it's hard to say what exactly to do, right? Rook e1, queen e2, these are also fine. All right, so here we go. b4, okay. Rook c8, c5. I think that's a very good and challenging move. And notice what you did now is now this bishop's scope is open. Okay. We could talk about knight c3. Good move. And then this move I don't like. I considered opening the a file with ab, but I did not see a clear plan. So, first thing I want you to see is that a5 loses a tempo. Here at the dojo, you'll know that I'm very dogmatic about these things called tempi. Okay, so the first thing to see is it loses a tempo, and second, it really does take away a lot of future ability for you to open stuff up over there. So definitely, I think Rook A1 should be our default move. We're threatening AB and then invasion. And just as an example, here's a standard plan where we build it up. And we just say, I'm going to decide when I want to play AB to win the A file. Okay. So King H7, kind of weird. Okay. Okay. Weird. Okay. Ooh, I don't like that one. Don't take a pinned piece. By the way, one of the things I feel is probably happening here for you is you don't know really what to do for the annotations, right? And it's hard, but we want to at least try things like, investigate knight E5, investigate knight D2 intending E4, that kind of stuff. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. F4. Spicy move. Okay, so now we have a full crisis. Now we have a full crisis. I believe in your position, but it's going to get hot. Knight E4, FE, and this is spicy. Okay. Whew. Okay, I believe in that move. Here, good move. Rook F4. And it's getting super hot now. It is now officially hot. D5. Snip, snap. And then your opponent definitely makes a mistake with Rook D7. What's the issue? The issue is, well, this looks terrifying. C6. King F1. Bishop C3. Terrible move. Now we're going to finally take that miserable pawn. And that looks like a blunder. Because, well, it might be kind of complicated. Jesse, could he play Rook takes D6? This, by the way, is really where we need some variations. Okay? So let's just calculate for a second. Rook D6. Rook E7 check. King G8. And maybe this is a good move. But I don't know yet. But C7, Rook C6, Rook D8, Rook F8, and he's miraculously holding it all together. Notice on Rook E8, we just take the pawn because our bishop's controlling the rook. Oh no! What a variation. So I want to stress, I'm certain I could go deeper into that. And the point would be, in the annotations, is to really try to explore these variations on your own. You will get better at tactics by doing so. George Hornby says, looks like Jesse is manifesting his goal of doing all of these before one. He wrote that ages ago, and I'd only seen it. Now. Okay, so C6 happened. Looks like Rook D6 scares me. Scares me anyways. Okay, so Rook C7. Knight B5. And he does have a variation here. AB, boom, boom, boom. Rook D4. Good variation. Looks like black's winning, right? Now, one of the trick about that variation, by the way, is that if white could have played Rook E7 first, then that would have been winning, I think. But he can't. So, check. Knight C7. It's incredibly spicy. We got other questions too. Rook d8, rook e8. And now, one of the things that we see at the dojo is players go super fast when the endgame comes. Okay, here there's actually loads to think about, and he's not annotating it anymore. Learning to annotate this is where it's at. Okay, and up here as well, you had a couple good variations, but we wanted definitely to see more. Yeah, you got a lot of interesting ideas here. Knight d4 might be a good idea, for example. Okay, so well done. And that was Simon H. from England. Good annotations could be a little bit deeper. And of course, with the example of Mauve, we know that you can put your times down. It would be very interesting for us to know, like, was that a time scramble at the end? Right? Those kinds of questions. Okay, brilliant. Next up, we have J.W. Pulford. And J.W. says, I barely crossed the 1600 lead chess, but I'll take it. I really like the quality of dojo games and the community. Having people in high bands drop in during postmortems on the Discord server has been invaluable for learning. The heat map, it's a simple graphic that keeps me accountable. The pin task feature, which makes adding time to my active tasks much easier. The custom tasks and the It's About Time course definitely helped me improve on tempo. Thank you very much. That's my Chessable course. Seeing how others in my cohort perform on tactics/checkmates puzzles gave me some idea of where to focus my studying. It's difficult to say what could be improved. I'm using a Chess Steps YouTube playlist, which has a lot of mini checklists. These seem useful for people around my ELO level and probably played a part in my climb. Okay, let's go check out JW. I remember JW from an earlier graduation. So yeah, he graduated, well, let's just see. Yeah, dude, he took a break. He took a break and then he came back and now he's just crushing 882. Actually, he made it and then dropped for a half a second. That's okay. And he's got a very high tactics rating. Clubs. The heat map heroes. Well, JW, got to get it on with your heat map heroes. And another English dude over here. Yo, Jesse, where can I send my games if I want higher rated dojo players to analyze them? We have loads of things on our Discord server where you can post games and people will come check it out. The first step is definitely to get on there and annotate them first, and then people you can post a link to it in the Discord server, and you definitely have people willing to look at it. Yeah. And also, I would say not just higher rated players, but you should definitely consider people around your own level just to look at some games that they played and you played and to talk about it. Very much encourage that. Okay, JW, let's see if we got some games over here, bud. We got at least one. We got two. So this one's recent, 30 plus 20. Let's go 30 plus 30, just because it's a little longer. It feels more civilized. This one doesn't have time control either. Time control. It doesn't have times, but we do have probably maybe a over the board situation. Fine. Little weird, right? Okay, so we gobble. Good. Fine. Little weird. Queen b3. Okay, this is frisky because you're allowing stuff like knight d4. So the basic moves would be like d3, knight f3, castle. Once you gobble a pawn, yeah, you don't need another one. But your opponent misses it and plays knight a5. So we should just go back home, honestly. Okay. Weird. So this is poor, and I want to stress why. So you're not really developing anything when you play e4. What do you want? You want to get this guy out, right? Now, maybe you're nervous about knight f3, e4. Okay. In that case, play d3, then followed up by knight f3. You need to play d3 anyway to get your bishop out. Poor move. Now, remember what I said. I said at this level, people aren't developing their pieces, right? That's one of their main problems. You kick the tourist away. You could have also just played knight f3. He's not doing anything there. Okay. Okay. Good. a3. Okay, this one frightens me because you're allowing knight b3, and he kind of wants to play a knight d4 anyway. Right? So, interesting questions about what you should do. One bummer for us is this does not work because of snip, snop, crop, choop, and chop. You know, so that's no bueno. Maybe something like bishop g5 developing. All right, so notice knight b3 wins a whole tempo on what he does. He plays knight c6. It'd be great to see the time graphs because then we would have a sense of like, is this person just moving really fast? Knight d4, okay. You get out of dodge. I approve of that message. And now you're just up a clean pawn. Boom. And you say finally, I agree. Queen c6. And now you play f4. F4 seems a little weird. What would I like? I don't know if it works yet. I have a feeling it works. Is to play d4. And if they take, we're going to say, oh, buddy, you're really pinned. And then we'll maybe go d5. So why do we want to do this? We want to fix our pawn, but we also want to liberate our knight. You know, we want to liberate our guy. Now, this is kind of scary, but I think we have chopos, propos, and catapos, and then the knight is done. Okay, so f4. Queen c2. Okay. Now you just took it. You're like, I've taken that thing. Okay. Now, I am worried because it looks like black is getting some activity. And there he comes. And then now you're going to give the pawn back. That's spicy. Okay. Now, had they calculated this out? I don't know. Here we come. Bishop d6. Queen e3 check. Rook f2. Good move. Good move. Good move. Oh, very nice move. Very nice move. And so now you've consolidated the position. And now a key blunder here with knight c3. So again, on our path to 1,000, it's all about not hanging stuff. When you guys, in the annotations, when you make a bad move, say what you should have done. You know, so probably like knight f4 makes some sense. Now the game is why. Oh, wait a second. He was supposed to take with the queen, buddy. So here we got a double blunder. Thank you very much. That's weird. Because you're hanging the rook. Okay. That one scares me a lot because you're setting up bishop c6 check. And now bishop c6 check again. So it's not check, actually. It's just a brutalizing pin. Okay, so lots of things were hung. This was a OTB game. It would be good to know like what the time situation was. It feels like people were either rushing or playing, or maybe they were in intense time pressure, right? Okay, lots of hanging. It happens at this level. Just expect it. If you're under 1,000, playing somebody under 1,000 dojo, there's going to be a lot of stuff hanging. Okay, well done, JW. Next up, we got David Z. David doesn't tell anything, but it looks like he's doing a lot of work. So, joined also in 23, came back recently. Going to give David Z a follow. I'm really hopeful that a lot of people come back to the dojo. You know, our site is always evolving. It's always getting a little bit better. And, you know, if you just think about our site in April of 23, it was a cool site, but it wasn't like this, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, so David Z looks like he might be ready to graduate again soon. No clubs, loads of games. Okay, let's just go here. Bang. Uh-oh, that was weird. What happened there? That was all the uploads. That was really weird because, anyways, one of the things I really want to fix is this thing here. we have 33 dev projects that are outstanding, and one of them is to get a My Games folder here that works a little better than what we currently have. So anyways, we're working on that. Time graph, we got a time graph. Let's take a look. David Z is using his time much better than his opponent. And this is very typical for this level, that somebody's going to agree to a game that says 30 plus 20 and treat it like a blitz game. Why? Because they're not used to thinking longer. All right, here we go. So here comes David Z. Now he says this is all prep. Okay. Why is that poor? Because it's not developing. Good move. Okay. All right, critical moment. Does this allow white to win a pawn? Probably. Probably. Okay, so here we go. Bang, 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 bang. And I think he got real frisky here with Queen C6, using a minute. And basically he blundered that the bishop could just play bishop d7 here, and then he could move his bishop. Black, look what he did. This is very important to see, everybody. Look, bishop d4, 11 seconds. So when I talk about using your time correctly at this level, a lot of it is just seeing basic things, right? Like your rook's hanging, bro. Like your rook's hanging, boss. All right, good move. Now, he's going to get a little frisky, but no to bene. Our queen is coming back, and we got this under control. Thank you very much. Another superficial move. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're totally winning. Good move. Good move. Take some stuff. Good move. Good move. And then he resigns. Okay, well done. That, to my mind, definitely an example of what I like to, one of the things I like to see in the dojo, which is that our opponents move too fast and we exploit it mercilessly because they're hanging their stuff. Okay, my friends, I'm going to be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rules his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10 full.
All right, here we go. We are up to the 1300. We got Stroxwol. Started right at the top of a cohort, so this didn't take much, but really enjoying the dojo so far. My biggest goal is to play a game or two of classical each week and perform very thorough analysis of those games. As in the past, I've usually just played and moved on to the next. Okay, brilliant. So, just joined. Oh, he is swole. He is swole. He's a competitive power lifter. Recent college graduate based in the eastern U.S. Oh, now I'm hoping. Let's just see if he's part of our weightlifting club. Lifting heavy things, bro. Here we go. Here we go. DOM3R3 says he sees me at his tournaments. Great. Thank you for being here. All right. So, lifting heavy things, beautiful. I do a little bit of lifting. I'm an older dude. Obviously, this guy's got a whole competitive thing going on. It would be amazing to know more about that. Just for myself, it would be amazing. I just think of these huge dudes. When I think of competitive powerlifting, actually the first thing that just comes to mind is steroids. That's the first thing that comes to mind whenever I think of those guys. There was a documentary. It might have been called Bigger, Faster, Stronger or something like that, and it interviewed a lot of competitive powerlifters, and they were like, yeah, we're just everybody's on that stuff. In any case, I enjoy lifting. We got it's funny, it's only 28 members big, but we got Gustafsson and others who are into it. So I feel like there's more, maybe just haven't joined. Okay, GM Conti, he's doing some weightlifting, yeah. We need to get him on the site, join this Lifting Heavy Things club. Okay, let's see what's going on with Shroxel. If he's got some games, we got some. Let's see, these are Josh's games. A little bit weird here. Okay, so I think this is what we want. Let's do this one. Boom. Just on the superficial level, it looks like a good analysis. Here we have a time graph, and again, my friends, the dojo wins. I hope we wasted this fool. Look at this person. They didn't think at all. So, especially, I just want to stress, we've talked about this before. When you are playing people at this level, just expect that you're going to get a lot of these chumps. If you don't put into your mind that you're going to get these fools who just move super fast, when they do move fast, it might feel intimidating at first. It might feel like, oh, they know something and I don't know something. No, they're just playing impulsive moves. All right, so here we go. All right, fine. Weird. In general, this is a poor thing because, most importantly, it loses a tempo. But second of all, you lose your big old fat E4 pawn. Weird. Good. And now, can you save your pawn with Queen C7? So, you thought for 4.5 minutes here, good. And I'm sure you're going to be okay after this, but the move you're talking about Injun saying Queen C7 is best, but just that's got to be the move. It holds all your coconuts together, right? Or at least the move we would want to consider, and it develops. So Bishop B5, and now I guess the thing that I'm a little worried about is, would this mess with me, Queen C5? Because he's also hitting this coconut. So that would be the thing that might make me a little nervous. Okay. Also, Knight C6, I like that better. And he's obsessed with this check. Okay. Notice, Shroxwool, the guy is giving you 1 million tempi. Just 1 million of them. Let's develop. Boom. Good. Good. D4. Good move by your opponent. Finally getting some development going. Now, this move, CD4, I'd have a little bit of reluctance to. I still think you're doing fine. But the reluctance comes from, I don't want to give him the C3 square for the knight. Rook D1. And you're proud of Knight B6. Okay, so I think one of the confusing things about knight b6 is I'm not really sure what it wants to do. And what should white do, by the way? He needs to be taking this pawn. He needs to be taking the pawn. And so this is a more, to appreciate why the beast likes it, it's a more active square. From b6, I don't quite know where you're going to go from there. I love that you're developing all your stuff, though. And this guy's losing his mind. He's just losing his mind. Okay. Now you have e5 here. Looks pretty good. You talk about queen e4. That's just poor. Now you can just take the pawn. You did this too. Great move. That's not going to help him. Good move. All right, so now we're just up a clean pawn. And you play bishop f6. Okay. Poor move. Notice he's just giving you time, tempo. Fine. 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 I would want to consider rook d5 there, just because you have full control of the entrance squares. I think you're winning no matter what. Rook c2, please. Okay, I'm okay with that too. I really want that rook to land though. King f7, good. See, so now we haven't landed. Okay, we're gonna land this guy. Poor move, hanging the business. Thank you very much. Game over. And he just, another blunder. So, he wasn't thinking, as you say. I wonder, I was about to make an extreme argument that people who lift really heavy things don't move fast. I don't know why if that would be true. Is there a reason that would be true? Dom says, is this a student of yours? This is a student of the dojo. And Rankvai says, is thinking really that important? Just use a random number generator and you move my pieces where it says. Okay. Arsenal fan also likes rook d5 better. But I just want to say Shrock Soul really played good on the clock and took advantage of these obvious opportunities that someone moving too fast gave them. And so what we'll say is Shrock Soul is going to move up into a cohort where, in my experience, they might still move. You're going to get some opponents who move too fast, but they're not going to hang stuff like that guy did, right? So that'll be, and honestly, this cohort here, 1300, is kind of like where chess honestly gets a little bit more interesting, because games aren't just decided by simple hanging of stuff anymore. It's a little bit more involved. Okay, here we got Dakota. Bang. And we have followed Dakota before. They have, well, I think this is their first graduation. Look at all those tactics, dude. Dakota is doing a lot of tactics. Okay. So, now Dakota, I think you're in the wrong cohort, buddy. I think. Now, let's just look at what's going on here. You were at 1444. Maybe you graduated and then fell back or something. Yeah. All right. So bouncing all around. Now, it looks to me, just looking at it, Dakota, it looks like you're doing a lot of, maybe it's blitz chess or something, or faster chess, and you're playing a lot of it, and you're also doing a lot of tactics. And so what we're going to hope to see are some longer games that you've looked at. SF Bay Area, kind of home to the dojo. And here we do get some games. All right, so we're going to want to see more for when you graduate to the next level. So, first, do we got a time graph? No time graph. This might be OTB. Here we go. This is the flicker. Okay. So, this is an ancient move that Steinitz came up with. And here you fall into a little bit of a trap. But let me just show why this is a little bit fascinating. So that's the challenging move. Here, we say no queen exchange. The only good way for black to guard c7 is king d8. Now, queen g2, no bueno, because I'll just play bishop f3, then I'll take. So, king d8, this is the position that Steinitz, pre-computer, significantly pre-computer, Steinitz wanted to defend this position for black, saying, I got your pawn, buddy, and my king can defend itself. Very interesting. There are still some modern players who will play this way. It turns into, as you can imagine, a full fiesta. I feel like black is strategically lost, but, I just want to say, let's call that an interesting historical note. How do I deal with OTB nervousness? Well, it's hard. Queen e4, and now definitely we don't want to trade queens because he's up a pawn. Play bishop e2. Play bishop e2, queen g2, bishop f3. So he's going to have to take the knight, and then we'll castle, and then we have at least some compensation. Now we're just down a pawn. Poor. Why? Because you don't need that thing. Your bishop's already out. Okay. Poor, not developing. A little weird to block your bishop. Okay. Good, I like that. Okay. Bishop b4, good move, but you parry. Good. Your opponent's playing some good moves. Oh, I like the way your opponent's playing. Now, rook d1. I want to say this position is still very hot because if you think about it, this extra pawn over here, it ain't so special. And maybe even though I liked d4 in principle, maybe it wasn't really what he wanted. Maybe it wasn't really what he wanted. All right, good. Not sure I understand that move. It has to be correct. And now you could definitely consider taking on e6 and bringing your king in. You go this way. Okay. Okay. Not sure I get it. Good move by black. Finally activating his business. Good. Good move by black's playing good moves. And now I think we're in big trouble. Our rook is passive, our king is passive. So what I want you to see about this is the way it went down was you didn't improve your pieces in the end game. You're kind of fiddling about. And look at it now. His king's better, his rook's better. We are toast. Thank you. Passive. Good. We definitely take on c7 here, though. Take on c7, then take on c5. We are technically lost, but, we don't have to resign yet. Oh, well played by black. I really like the way he played that. Okay. First reviewed without and then with the computer. Great. So, I want to stress there's a lot of things going on here. This queen h4 kind of messes with you as a trick. But again, even if you fall for it, even if you miss it, you still have reasonable compensation in this position because his queen, his queen's all messed up. Yeah, or, even if he goes this way, he still then owes you a move to develop the bishop, the queen. And we're going to whack him, and we're going to check him. Okay, so good game. I think that endgame was eminently holdable at the end. So that was also something you could have still even won that game. Okay, so here we go. JDW. Let's see what's going on. JDW has graduated numerous times here. And 50-something Army vet living in Chicago, originally Florida man. And you can sometimes see the Florida man in my chest still. Okay. Good. So we're hoping he sticks with chess here. And I'm interested to see what Florida man looks like when playing chess. That's one of the things I want to see. So 50 plus Army vets, Chicago, maybe also a Florida man club. Maybe somebody can create that. That's something we all want. Okay, so JDW, we got some games, bud? Maybe not. Oh, we do. All right. So this is a fast-ish game, but still 40-0. Great. Now, I think at this level, we want a slightly higher time control, right? JDW is 11 to 1200. Yeah, so we're looking, I think this is like 30 plus 30 still, what we're looking at. And then when you hit 1200, we want you to do a 45, 45, I believe. Okay, so let's take a look. Times weren't given. So let's do a game review. All right. Fine notes so far. Fine. Little weird. Why it's not developing? Okay. Frisky. Since I'm here, I might as well do some damage. Okay. Poor move. He should play rook b8. Poor move. He needs to develop. Poor move. He needs to develop. Okay. I think you could waste him here now with queen b7. The point would be that on this move, we got this stunner. Bang! And notice we got this thing going on, this thing going on, this thing going on. It's a bad business. Okay, so you come back. Check to the miserable queen. Boom. And now you got it, bud. So what you could have had before, now you get. And let's take the rook. Oh, no, you're better. Your move's way better than my first intuition. Now we're just crushing him. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Uh-oh. Dang, that was rude. Look at that. Bang! That was not Florida man chess. And I want to say you played that pretty well. There was some moves in the opening where you didn't develop, right? But what we'll just say is this person you're playing did not understand the basics of development. How much does it cost to be a student? Basically, it's for the dojo, it's $15 a month, and I think it's $100 for the year. Come join the dojo. Here, I'll put a. How do we do this? How do we join the dojo? Let's give them a link. There's all kinds of links to give here. I want to give him the right link though, but let's give him the right link. Zoop. We got to get it a little bit more dialed in over here. Boom. Check it out. Okay, JDW, congratulations. Definitely outplayed your opponent there. Next, we have Parvink. Parvink says, after a big move from Germany to France, I sadly didn't have that much time to train or review my games during the last months. I kept working on tactics and played some tournaments. Will definitely be back more seriously to train in my next cohort. Okay, Germany to France. Let's go look at what's going with Parvink. So, beautiful. And this is their second graduation. You can see they're crushing it. Look at that. That's a beautiful line. And they've also got a FIDE rating that's kind of commensurate with that one. At some point, it would be cool. Well, it's funny, actually. Oh, yeah. It would be cool to use your FIDE at some point. So this is great. Let's see, we got some clubs going on. The French and the Adult Improver. Not the German one, though. Not the German one. Okay, let's see. Lots of nice work being done. Let's see what's going on with the games. I think we want to hit this. And we got an OTB game. Good. Oh, this one looks good. Join the dojo. All right, this, we do have some times. Now, it is hard to put down the times for an OTB game. And I think what happened in this one is Parvink didn't write down his opponent's move, was more interested in himself. That's okay. They'll be interesting for us looking at the game, though, to kind of be like, well, what was going on? But definitely we're going to say that Parvink used his time at least fairly well here. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. Fine. All right, here we go. Here we go. I like this move, honestly. Good move. Good move. Good move. So I could go at length as to why this is the correct move order, but they figured this out in the 1800s, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So he talks about knight f6 and dc3. And now he spends 13 and a half minutes playing knight g5. Okay. I think it's correct. I do have some questions on it, but I think it's correct. Now, if we want to, if we didn't like knight g5, it should be said that c takes d4 is a very nice looking position. Okay, so knight g5, and now black plays knight e5, kind of, let's say, falling for our trap, if you will. This looks beautiful, though, because d5 will just take it, and then if knight d5, we have rook e1, it's looking good. If I was black, I guess the thing that I would think about is, could I get away with that? I don't know. It's pretty hot, honestly. It's pretty hot. Okay, so knight e5, good. Boom. Now, I just want to stress, we're moving a little bit higher level of player here as we go up the cohorts. And one of the distinctions I have just recently made in my own chess understanding is to divide chess skill into visual grip, which for me just means which pieces are controlling which squares, and then let's say calculation, which is usually a couple moves deep. And what we want to say is when Parvink played knight g5, he saw this. Beautiful, right? He sees that he's going to pick up the bishop. Now, the reason is that I've done these graduate shows for so many years now that I know that at the lower levels, what is just happening so often are people are just hanging stuff. So to me, that's a different kind of skill than this calculation, but it's related. You have to be able to first be able to mentally grip the squares before you can do something like this. I think g6 is probably better, snip. And this can't be it, because he's helping you develop. f4, very frisky, and it's hard to imagine it's wrong, right? Good. Ooh, that's a nice move. So, and now maybe the computer found this thing with queen h4. I will say for myself, I think it would be very, especially in a blitz game, I wouldn't even consider queen h4. So one thing we should say actually is, when we play queen h5, we want to have an answer to queen h4. Because queen a4 is also a great move. You know, we have full control of the position after queen a4. Thank you very much. Okay, good. That doesn't look right. E5, nice move. Nice move. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Beautiful. Also really nice that here, if he tries to get out of it, we say boom, and it's a check. Yep. One of the things actually that I think we can say about Parvink's game is that, you know, we don't want people studying openings at the lower cohorts. But when you are, let's say you start getting up to that 1200 or something, right? And Parvink is now up to 14, 15. When you get here, it makes a lot of sense to get a really spicy opening as white. Like the dojo, the Chessdojo aggressive opening repertoire for white. Also this Evans Gambit stuff. To play something with a lot of tactics that you can kind of get good at. And boom, we saw that. Parvink brought it in that game. Right? It wasn't just the opening that won him the game, but he had kind of a sense of what was going on and found this nice tactic with knight g5, knight f7. Okay, next up is David. This is a guy I know. I'll give a little plug. We've been doing this game annotation workshop, and he's been in it. So he's shown some games, and actually he's going to show a game again on Monday. So super cool here that he's in this advanced cohort at making progress. So here's David, and look at that. Look at that. 497 since joining the dojo. Are you out of your mind? Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Look at the work. Look at the work this man has put in since joining. Dang, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. Love it. I mean, it's I'm sure when we look at this graph over time, the slope will slow. Maybe we can even say it's slowed a little bit recently, natural, but it's still going up in this beautiful and inspiring pattern. Okay, so let's see some clubs. SF Bay Area, brilliant. All right. Games. All uploads. And let's take a look at this bad boy. So, this is the no times given, that this is an OTB. All right, so we're going to go game review. Spicy, E5. And white says, I'm not going to take that pawn. Boom, boom. And now, my friends, we've actually transposed into an exchange French. Knight f6 is the most natural move here. Very spicy chess. Good. Very spicy from white to castle long when his pawn's on c4. No, I don't like it. David is also surprised. Good move. And honestly, I think white's in big trouble just because long-term his king is so much weaker than ours. Dom says, I was put in the 19 to 2000 cohort. What does that mean? Well, so what that means is if we go over here and we go rating conversions and we look 1900 to 2000, that means that whatever rating you put, hold on, let's fix this. Whatever rating you put as your preferred rating, whether, if you feel like you play OTB more often, let's just say you put a USCF rating in, then that means that your USCF rating was somewhere in this range. Or if you put FIDE, it would be that range. Or if you put Chesscom, it would be over here. Definitely at your level, you shouldn't be using Chesscom just because Chesscom, there's so many cheaters there at 2165. All right, so back to the front. So game review. Obvious thing I want to say, we have to create a universal rating system, of course, because there's so many different rating systems out there. Knight b3, why is it not great? Because he's not developing. B6, restricting the knight. I don't know, David. I don't know. We're interested in death now. We're interested in murdering. We're not interested in anything else. So that said, what would I want you to do? A very basic move would be rook e8. You're going to need, that's going to be something to do for us anyway. Okay. Not sure we're really doing something with a5. Okay. Now notice white's not just doesn't no sense of development. Okay, I like it. Now we have a concrete threat. Bishop d3, full on blunder. Thank you. Thank you. And it's essentially now game over. Now, I want to yell at you here, bishop d3. A great rule of thumb is don't take the pinned piece. Okay, I get it. We're happy to take the rook, but we're in no rush. Don't take it, bows. Play something like knight d5 or knight c6. Then we'll be threatening knight b4. Make him beg me to take it with like king a1. Okay, so snip snop. Okay. Well, we'll just take some things, he says. Good moves. He's just playing tricksies. Okay, knight b4 might have been winning directly there. That makes me a little nervous. Good. You're playing pretty good here. Fine. Uh-oh, does that make me nervous? I guess you had it all figured out. You're just taking everything. You're taking everything. Okay. Simple chess. Checks. Let's run. Run, Forrest, run. Well, the knight ain't so good at this kind of thing, is it? Simple chess. Okay, David, great. And I'll see you on Monday. That was well done. Annotation's good. And what we want to say here is it would be great if we could get the time graph. I realize in OTB it's harder to do, but it's definitely worth it. So, here we go. Bang. Next up we have Kevin. I might not finish today. That's okay. That's okay. We got a meeting at the top of the hour. Kevin says, I have been spending a lot of time on chess studying, but not good at entering it in the Dojo website. Lately, I've been caught by the blitz bug, so trying to get back into the habits that allowed me to make progress and graduate. I definitely love the program, and shout out to Sid Mandu. Sid Mandu, I'm guessing, probably helped Kevin out in terms of doing either some sparring with him, looking over their games, that kind of thing. So really cool when we got that. So, the dojo. All right. Let's look. Kevin has graduated loads of times. Look at that since joining the dojo. Just flying up. Beautiful. In the Canada dojo. Great. We got some games, Kevin? We got loads. This is K4, played kind of recently. We would have hoped to have a more recent game than this, Chaotic Tactician. Let's just see here. Have I looked at this one already? No. We got times. Ooh, we got times. However. So this is played in an online situation. My friends, oh. One of the things that's interesting about the time graph, okay, is that what we really often see is, let's say you're talking about other skills, let's say tactical skills, positional skills. They move roughly in line with the rating. Of course, you'll have somebody who we could say maybe is 1,400 tactically and 1,000 positionally. Yeah, we could see that. But what we see with the time usage is you can see such a wide variety as you come up the ladder, and still incredibly poor play as you come up the ladder like we have here. So he writes, for example, I played much faster at the start than I wanted because, okay, he had some, wait. Let's read what he wanted. Originally scheduled for noon, but my opponent slept through the time. Oh no. I agreed to a later time, but was a bit pressed due to later commitments. Yeah, he was apparently pressed too. He wasn't thinking either. So you probably spent more time analyzing this game than you did playing it. And I really want to say, this is the easiest thing to, is it the easiest? It's one of the easiest things to improve. It's a little harder than one might think because controlling the impulsive decisions isn't something that you just automatically do. It's a habit where you got to get good at it. All right, so let's go. Game review. And here we go. Bang. Fine so far. Fine. Poor. So it's totally possible to play c6. There's all kinds of different plans. You know, c6 in itself isn't a terrible move. But of course, if you're going to do c5 last move, you should have done it. But here, it's obvious, you're just down a lot of time. And here you lose more time with h6. Yeah, poor. All right. Simple chess. They could take either way and have a nice position. Bishop f4 is no bueno because you can hit him. So probably there's a lot of good moves here for white. Knight h4 isn't, for an example, is a good move. Just to kick the bishop away. Good move, g5, by the way, because you got yourself a little space. Space the final frontier. Okay. Good. Now you're back in the game. Now this part of it is totally unannotated. The rest is unannotated. I want to stress here, of course, we want you to do more annotations. And both sides aren't, we're just going to see a lot of blundering around because both sides are moving too fast. Now, I understand the thing if you had a time commitment, but this is really the kind of thing we want to avoid both in the games and then the annotations. You really want to drill into it, right? Because this is just an interesting position now. You're doing fine. What should you, like what's going on here? We could play knight e5 at some point soon, for example, right? Okay, so let's do another one, and I'm probably going to have to break soon. This is Shellback. Shellback says, the air is getting thin up here. Happy to join a new cohort. Honestly, despite recent rating games, I've gotten away from the core principles of the program, and I'm going to take this opportunity to get back to basics. I'm playing too fast, not tapping into the deeper thinking and calculation, and I've been lazy about analysis and annotation. Those are going to be my main focus going forward, so I can hopefully stay up here among such admirable company, onward and upward. All right. Without work, talent is lost. Now, beautiful progress that you can see, and it's happening at a slow and steady rate. He's getting up there, as he says, and he is doing a lot of work. Maybe he feels like he's lost it a little bit. I understand that can happen. It turns into a real struggle when you get up here. Shellback, it would be great too. I'm sure you haven't played any tournaments recently, but I'm sure if you did, your rating would go up in terms of the OTB tournaments. We got some clubs also in Chicago. Look at all this great stuff. We got some games. So this one, let's just check all uploads for a second. Yeah, this one's pretty recent. This is going to be Muttons against Shellback. Let's go look at Muttons. There we have a time graph that's a little bit more appropriate. Both sides still moving a touch too fast, but significantly better than the last one. Okay, so now we're going to get some game review. Here we go. Fine. Fine. Okay, a little spicy. Interesting. Okay, this move we want to stress is very spicy because you're going to be down 1,000 tempi. Okay, I don't know. This is a good test. I don't know if it's going to work. So b6 probably. That's probably a good move. d3. Good move. Now black is definitely a little pressed about what he wants to do. I don't like this move. You say, not a capture I originally planned to make, but I actually saw some possible discoveries if I played e4 instead. So he's talking about e4 and knight takes e4. I see. So he really wants to play e4. Okay. I have sympathy. I have sympathy. Okay, let's give your move a try. Black should have more than enough here and should consider maybe rook g6 to prevent easy development, and if g3, f5. It's still very spicy. That doesn't do anything, right? Okay. Fine. Okay, good. He's not doing anything. Now, could you just play EF? We're about to talk about it. Boom. Oh, this is getting interesting. Oh, now let's play D4. Oh, it's B4. I don't know. D4, good move. Now he just wants to trade. I think we're going to take it. And now you play bishop G4. I like that move. And now bishop F5, which you really don't like, but is it that bad? The one move I really wish I could take back. You missed bishop H5. Okay, that's fair. Now, let's just stress, I get it, but if you'd move, it's about moving slower. You do, however, have full control of this game. I would call this winning because that D pawn is just a loser. I would have preferred rook D2, I think. Okay, that's a spicy move. Fine. Good. King F3, please. Nice. He's getting frisky on you. Boom, boom, boom. Good. And now C5. Come on, roll him. Yeah, buddy. Make him go passive. Let's go take it. And he just resigned. Okay. Well done. I would say it was a very ballsy decision to take on E5. And I don't know, let me just say, I believe black will have some kind of way to make you pay. Make you pay. For example, here, B6 was interesting. I think D5 is probably hard to meet. Knight E4 might also be interesting. D5 just because he's threatening D4, and if you take the coconut, then the knight comes in, and you're just so undeveloped, you know? But that was a good game. And you guys, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here because I got this meeting to go to, and I apologize for not finishing. I'm either going to come back later this afternoon or tomorrow and finish up beginning with Kayash next time I come. All right, I'm going to raid somebody here. Thank you all for being here. And this is the Chessdojo training program. Let's put it go to that website, buddy. Go to that website. Here, I'll put it in the Twitch too. Because I'm rolling. I'm hating. Who are we going to raid? Let's raid friend of the dojo, Benjamin Book, GM. Benjamin Book. All right. So, as I said, this is the Dojo training program. I will be back probably tomorrow to finish it off. Maybe later this afternoon. We'll see.
I would say like 1600 plus.